Welcome to the Life of a Fit Pro podcast. I'm your Fit Pro, Andra Anderson, and this week we are diving into part 2 of reasons to quit your job in pursuit of your own business or your own passion. I didn't know if I would come up with more reasons, but here we are. We have actually 15 more reasons. So if you missed part 1, I outlined 10 reasons to quit your job. And prior to that, we had 2 episodes that each had 10 reasons not to quit your job. So I'm trying to do the whole playing both sides because really this is a game of information. This is collecting all the information that exists and making the best decision for yourself. I'm not here to tell you keep your job, and I'm not here to tell you quit your job. I'm just here to lay down the facts. These are the facts. 10 more reasons. No, 15 more reasons to quit your job. And don't take this the way just because I came up with more reasons to quit than to stay doesn't mean that you should quit. It just means that my brain was working like that day, truthfully. So here we are. The first reason to consider quitting your job. You keep saying, this is just a busy week, or this was just a bad day, or this was just a bad month. If you find yourself in that cycle of saying that a lot, it is time to ask the question, is it a bad day, or do you not like your job? Was it a bad week, or do you not like your job? Is it a bad month, or is this job dead? Do we need to lay it to rest? I think in the previous one, I'd said, is it a bad week or do you just need a day off? Similar energy, but this one feels a little different because sometimes there are busy seasons at work. Like you have to just come to terms with your job may have evolved or there may be really busy seasons. So are you willing to put in the time and effort for that busy season, or is it really time to call it quits? Number 2, this is kind of similar to what I said before, but this one just hits home so hard. Your job no longer fits the life that you want. So if you find yourself, like I've been finding myself saying, I'm so tired of working on other people's business goals. I want to work on my own business goals. That's my goal. If you are no longer living the lifestyle that you want and you feel like you actually have something to fall back on or you can build the thing to fall back on, like for example, if you don't want to be on somebody else's time clock, you don't want to be punching a time clock, you want to work the hours that you want to work, and you've already exercised all of the possibilities and asked for additional possibilities, like can you flex your work time? Can you change your hours? Can you do some remote work? And if the answer has been no and the door has been slammed in your face, maybe it's time to quit your job. You know what this feels like? Do you, my elder millennials, and maybe my Xers will remember this. Jeff Foxworthy had this series that was like, you might be a redneck if, this feels sort of like that. It might be time to quit your job if you're constantly waiting for your life to start. That's number 3. If you are just waiting, like, okay, well then next week I won't be so busy and I can work on this. Or friends, I have my life is lived in my notes app. That is my entire life. Everything I've ever thought is in that notes app. And I have lists of all of the deliverables and things that I need to work on for my fitness business. And that list keeps growing. But the list for my other job keeps getting shorter because I'm actually ticking away at those because I'm spending more of my energy and time on that. But if you are constantly waiting for your actual life to start, maybe it's time to consider quitting your job. Number 4, it's time to quit your job if you have stopped growing. And I'm not talking about a professional development video that you have to watch and check it off because you were a good person and now you know about cyber attacks. Don't click on links you don't know. Okay, why is this so hard? Obviously, people are doing it. If they're making us do it every year, somebody's clicking on that link. I digress. If you are no longer growing, or related, if you no longer have the interest in growing, it might be time to quit your job. Like if the idea of going to a professional conference or joining a professional organization or accepting leadership positions that are being thrown at you does not seem fun, it's time to let go of that job. Because what if live in this possibility with me, play in this sandbox with me. What if you did quit and your business just popped off because all of a sudden you're directing all of your good energy toward it? What if? What if? It's time to quit your job if your values and your workplace don't match anymore. And listen, you could have started working for a company and the people, the leadership that worked there and the values of it were perfect. They aligned so well, or just the space that you were personally in, they aligned so well. But things change, people leave, leadership changes, things grow, policies adapt. So sometimes you don't even recognize the person that you were when you first started. That was me in my very first job. I was so about it. I was so into it. But by the time year 10 rolled around, I was so over it. So over it. And that's okay. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change. If your workplace changes and you have values that are no longer aligning with that, it is absolutely time to leave. Or consider leaving. I can't tell you to leave your job. I'm not saying that. Maybe I am. This is a big one, number 6, and I can't believe it wasn't on my first list because I think about this all the time. One of my values is energy. So I think about energy all the time, all the time. So if you are feeling like you're spending your best energy at your 9 to 5, at your corporate work, at your solid job, whatever cute little name you're giving it, and you have less energy to spend at home or on the pursuits that actually make you feel like a whole individual, it might be time to quit your job because that's not fair to give so much of your best energy to the thing that gives you the littlest return. Now, I say that, but sometimes sticking with that 9 to 5 job, like what I'm doing right now, is serving a greater purpose. There are other benefits to it. So you really have to weigh those things, right? Number 7, it's time to consider quitting your job if you are afraid to leave because you won't find something better. If you don't like your job, literally anything is better. I actually, at the orthodontist, I had to go to the orthodontist, get a new retainer. And I was looking at the lady that was working at the front desk. And I thought, that looks more fun than what I do. I mean, my job is fun. Okay. Don't get that wrong. But just thinking about how she spends her energy, she could have a booming side business and she gets to leave at the end of the day and not take work with her. Likely, maybe, I don't know. I'm projecting. Anyway, but if you have thoughts like that, maybe it's time to consider leaving your job. Number 8, it might be time to consider leaving your job if you're only staying because you started there. That was my very first career pathway in higher ed, a liberal arts institution. I was afraid to leave because that's where I'd started my journey. And I was taught to believe that you were loyal, right? You showed up, you came to the same place. You were going to leave that place 30 years later with a plaque or a clock or a watch or whatever little gifty they give you. Speaking of which, I never got my 10-year gift. Thank you for former job. Thank you. I'm still waiting for my umbrella. Okay. Anyway, so if you're only staying there because you began your professional journey there, that's not enough of a reason to stay. You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to change. And honestly, sometimes the only way to get more money or to get a better title is to leave. It is to leave. It might be time to consider quitting your job if you don't recognize yourself anymore. If you are all of a sudden not interested in the same things that you were before. And again, you're allowed to change. But if that seems alarming to you, for me, I love wearing cute outfits. And when I get to a point where I'm who cares what I wear? Whoa, that's a red flag for me because I care what I wear. I want to look cute. I don't care if I have no audience. I just want to look cute. That's just who I am. So things that you are normally interested in don't seem interesting anymore, or you just don't recognize yourself or your approach to things. If you find yourself getting snippy, maybe it's time to move on. Maybe it's time to move on. Okay. And then number 10, where am I? That was number 9. Yes. Number 10. It might be time to quit your job if you keep getting the same message. Like if you keep having the same feeling every Sunday, or you keep getting the same response when you ask to work remote one day, or the same like feeling or the same sign. Pay attention to those things. The universe is trying to talk to you. I fully believe in that. I love energy, and I believe that the energy of the universe wants you to succeed. Like it expects you to succeed, and it gives you little signs along the way and little chirps in your ear. Number 11, it might be time to quit your job if your compensation no longer matches your contribution. So I was talking about this with a colleague yesterday, actually. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I don't know. The days have started to combine, but there is this tiny little line at the end of most job descriptions that says, and other duties as assigned. And that's the catch-all for people to keep you in the position locked in where you are. And a lot of places have changed their promotion tactics, or they don't do promotions, or they offer different benefits in lieu of a promotion or additional compensation. If you find yourself doing the work of a higher level individual and you are not getting compensated for that, first step is to say it out loud and document everything that you've been doing to prove that you are actually not getting compensated at the rate that you should be. And if that goes nowhere, if that hits a brick wall, if nobody cares, which is very likely, it might be time to leave because you have outskilled your position. And if they're not recognizing that, hit the road. Hit the road. Number 12. Oh, we're running through these. This one hurts. It might be time to leave your job if you have to keep proving that you're worthy of basic respect, like boundaries, like don't call my phone off hours because you also don't pay for my phone, or don't, I don't know, like I worked in an environment in an office where the leader never said good morning to anybody. And that's just effing rude. Like, it's just rude. Like, say good morning. It doesn't hurt you to say good morning. You don't have to be chipper. I get it. You can have your little coffee first and then do a little walk around. I've also had bosses that totally hid and like you never see them. And I'm like, do you actually exist? Because you just hide behind your emails and Teams chats. And like, I never see you. And we're all required to work in person. So I don't understand. But there's that. But then there's also like, are you invited to have a seat at the table? When you share your ideas, do you get credit for that if that's important to you? Do you get talked over in meetings? Do you just like not even get invited to meetings? Do people forget about you? Like, if you are not being shown basic respect, get out of there. There are better places. There are better places to work. There are better places to work. Number 13, it might be time to quit your job if you are spending more time managing workplace drama than doing your actual job. And this is why I never want to be a supervisor anymore. I worked with 20-somethings and I worked with high school students. And the drama's the same. Isn't that fun? You think adults, no drama. Adults have worse drama. They could have worse drama. And it is really easy to play into it. It is really easy to get swept up by it. Like, gossip is fun until it's not. And I've had the most enjoyment when I just stay out of it. I just stay out of it. I knew that I was rising to a position at my previous job where I was going to be overseeing people. And I just didn't want that responsibility anymore. I want to do my own thing, stay in my own lane. And I know that about myself professionally. Same is true with the fitness stuff. Like, I just yesterday got offered to come back to a group fitness organization. And I said, no, thank you. I don't want to, because I don't want to accidentally take somebody's time slot. And then everybody hates me and I have no idea why. And all I did was show up. Like, that's just not worth it. If you're worried about the drama and like you have FOMO and you're not included in like the happy hour after work, oh my gosh, please don't invite me. I don't want to go. I like don't even want to know about it. La la la. I don't care. That's me. I have JOMO, joy of missing out. Don't invite me. But some people really feel offended if they don't get invited, or if you forget to add them to an email. Like, it just slips your mind because there's 27 people that you have to email. You literally don't have it out for Linda, but she feels a way about it. If you're managing drama and you find yourself when you're approaching your tasks worrying more about the drama than the actual work, is that really the job that you want to be in? Yeah. Number 14, it might be time to leave your job if you can't see a future there that excites you. If you're like, is this all there is? And that makes you feel sad. If you're like, is this all there is? And you'd be happy to do that for the rest of your life, pop off, queen, keep going. But if you're like, will it ever be fun? Will I ever enjoy it? I'm so bored. Will there ever be a time that I'm not? Then maybe it's time to leave your job. This one's fun today. Isn't this such a fun topic? And very millennial of me. Millennials love quitting jobs. We're so good at it. We're so good at it. My dream is to just like not show up one day and not actually quit. I mean, I guess you actually technically have to write a letter and get like sign it, but it'd be really fun just to be like, nah, not coming in, but thank you for the offer. I know that's so disrespectful. I would never do that, but it's kind of fun to fantasize about, isn't it? That's really fun. Okay, now the last one, number 15. You might consider quitting your job if you realize that you're more afraid of leaving than you are excited about staying. Like, fear is a big deal. Follow that. Whatever scares you, lean into it, be curious about it, because that holds the key to what you might be best at or what you might want to leave or you might want to run toward. Fear is so huge. Fear is so huge. If you're a Donnie Darko fan, there's fear and there's love. That's the spectrum, right? Fear on one side, love on the other. The opposite of fear isn't no fear, it's love. So there's that. Patrick Swayze, so good. That was, if you haven't seen Donnie Darko, this is your sign to go watch it. It's the weirdest movie, but I promise you will, it lives rent-free in my head, like a lot of things. But if you are not thinking like, oh, I want to stay, but you are thinking, I might want to leave, lean into that. Be curious about that. Consider the possibilities for either scenario. And I get it. You might be in a job that you're like, I literally can't leave because I don't have something else lined up at the moment. I get it. I know. I get it. Or you might be in a job for a very specific purpose and you're like letting it run its course. I get it. I get it. You might just be scared of taking the leap. And I know it is scary. You might not have a safety net. But like, what if you did? What if you just did it? And all of that fear and all of that drama melted away. And all of a sudden, all you have is like a sunny path toward the right thing. Your life, your one beautiful and precious life is totally worth figuring that out for. All right, do not confuse this with me telling you that you have to quit your job today, because that's not what I'm saying. But I want you to be curious about what are the other possibilities. I want you to be curious about, is this the right fit for me? And know that there are 10,000 million other jobs, and there are people who get paid to do absolutely nothing, and there are people in leadership positions who have no business being there. So yes, you can think about quitting your job if you want to. All right, my friends, that is our Life of a Fit Pro podcast for today. So now we have 2 podcasts of reasons to stay in your job and 2 podcasts of reasons to quit your job. So take all that information, synthesize it. And if you want to have a strategy talk or a conversation surrounding your particular position, I'm all ears. I would love to coach with you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, send me a note. Share this with a friend who might need to hear it, because sometimes we just need that little push. And I'm happy to be that person. See you next time. Bye.